What's going on, guys? It's Colin, and I'm out on my deck here on this beautiful Canada day. Pardon the sunlight and the shitty quality, and I know that I'm wearing a New England Patriots hat. I should have something more patriotic Canadian-wise, but I don't really own very many hats, and it is bright as hell out here. So, try and get in the shade here a little bit. So, I've been promising to do a cooking show forever. I want to make it a little bit better produced than what you're seeing here, but that being said, because the 4th of July is coming up, for those of you in the States, and obviously Canada Day, there's a long weekend happening here. I'm going to show you how to grill the perfect steak. So, I'm going to capture some footage and give you guys some instructions as some things to note, how to do this well, and you will be able to impress your family and your friends. So let's get to it. Alright, so the next thing is heat. I'm going to show you the steaks later and how I prepare them, but I bought some good quality grilling steaks, so there's not much to the preparation. The main thing is the fire, and if you have a gas grill, that's fine. I find that the best way to cook a steak is actually on a natural wood fire, although I don't have time for that today. The next best thing is lump charcoal. Not the briquette stuff, but the good stuff. And here you can see I've built a nice little pyramid, a pile of my lump charcoal. And we're going to get this going. It's going to take a while to burn down before we can start cooking, so yeah. Alright, so these things have been soaking with a bit of lighter fluid for about 3 minutes or so. Now we're going to light this thing up and let it burn down probably for about 20 minutes. Unlike briquettes with the lump charcoal, you don't need to wait for the briquettes to become completely white, or for the lumps of charcoal to become completely white. You want a nice bed of coals burning in order to cook the steak. You want a high heat, a high searing heat. That's how you're going to get your best results. So here goes. Alright, so we're going to light this sucker up, let it burn down, and we'll be back in about 20 minutes or so. Alright guys, so we're getting there. This fire's burning down pretty good. Just going to wait for some of the coals over here to catch so I have a nice even hot fire. But first off, I want to talk about some of the mistakes that people make while grilling steaks. And when we actually get the meat out here, first things first, use tongs. It hurts me deeply inside when I see somebody take a nice steak and pierce it with a fork to fire it on the grill. You don't want to pierce the meat. You want to make sure that you're not letting the juices escape, and trying to make sure that the steak is as juicy as possible. That is one of the key goals here. And I'm not going to marinate the meat. I'm just simply going to season it a little bit with salt and pepper. I mean, I've got some nice lump charcoal. I believe it's mesquite flavored lump charcoal. There's no need for anything on that meat other than salt and pepper. So we're getting really close now. You can see I've taken the grills off to build the fire. Got a little pile of friggin' leaves in the back here. We're waiting to do some home renovations. But anyway, I'm going to slap the grills on here once the fire gets burned down. You see I've broken down the pyramid that I had built. And yeah, so you want a nice even bed of coals. I'm going to spread this around a little bit more once we get an even heat going. And then we're going to talk about the meat. This is a very simple process. It takes some time if you're going to use the charcoal, but it's worth it. It's worth every second. Alright, so now we got a perfect bed of coals, guys, so now let's talk about the meat. So, what I have here are 2 ribeye steaks, and they're cut to about 1.25 inches or so. And usually I like to grill strip loins, cut to 1.25 inches, but they didn't have any today. But ribeye is a fantastic steak. So, how do I prepare it? Because I only have 2 hands, I can't really show the process. But right there are my pride and joy. That is a pepper grinder and a sea salt grinder. And what I do is I lightly dust both sides of the steak with sea salt, ground sea salt, and fresh ground pepper, and then I press it into the meat. So you take your hand, get right in there, press it in so that it stays on the surface of the steak, flip it over, repeat on the other side. So I'm cooking a steak for myself and for my father. These things are ready for the grill. And he likes his done medium. I like mine medium rare. So his is going to go on this grill first. So anyway, in my experience at heat this high, the difference between a medium and a medium rare steak is about 1 minute aside. So I'm going to start my dad's 2 minutes before I start mine. And so using my tongs, and I guess I'm operating one-handed, so we're going to grab it. See here, you can see it's dusted on both sides with the salt and pepper. Boom. I'm just going to put that right on the grill. Ah, I love that sizzling sound. We got some good heat going. We're going to close the lid on this thing, and we'll be back in 2 minutes. Another thing that I want to note, actually, this is a pretty nice little grill smoker thing that I have going on. It's served me very well, and I love it. There's different myths about cooking steak. One is that you should sear the meat, flip it immediately, sear the meat, and then do your cooking. I totally disagree with that. I'll explain why in a minute. Alright, so we're at about the 2-minute mark here, and it is time to throw steak number 2 on the grill. This will be mine. Oh yeah. Boom. Uh-oh, it's kind of falling apart a little bit on me. Sorry. Show you what I'm doing here. Anyway, the reason why you don't immediately sear a steak and grill it and flip it is that this thing's still sticking to the grill a little bit and it's not ready to be flipped yet. So, these things are going to be about, well, I'm going to cook this for about 5 minutes aside, this one for about 4 minutes aside, but there's really no scientific method, especially with wood, because you don't have a constant heat every time. However, we're going to get to that. I'm going to close the lid, let these things cook, and yeah, I'm going to have some beer. So we'll be back in about 3 or 4 minutes for the big flip. But don't mess with them. You know, you just have to get used to the timing. Put them on the grill, close the grill, don't flip them, don't poke them, don't prod them, just leave them there. And you know, you gotta have some faith in what you're doing. And here you can see the temperature's creeping up. It's probably running about 500 inside there once the gauge catches up to what's really happening. So, yeah. Alright, so it's time to flip my dad's steak. Boom. Oh, nice char. This is going to be absolutely, absolutely delicious. Mine's still working, and it's stuck to the grill. So I'm going to wait, okay? I'm not going to flip this thing over until it releases from the grill by itself. And that's how you can tell it's ready. Basically, the meat is going to contract once it's cooked. If you try and pull it off or flip it over or force it, don't rush it, but it's going to tear away from the grill. You don't want that. You don't want that at all. And I've prepared a rack on top of a plate to put these things on when they're done. We're actually going to let them rest for about 5 minutes before we cut into them, but put them on a rack. If you put them down on a flat surface rather than a cooling rack, then because of the contact with that flat surface, they're actually going to release their juices onto the plate. You don't want that. So cooling rack, cookie rack, anything like that's going to be perfect. I'm going to shut the lid down here and let these things keep going. Mine's still, it's not quite ready to flip. So. But the key is, when it releases from the grill, you shouldn't have to yank at it at all. It's ready to go. The grill is not oiled, no shenanigans like that. It's just straight up, so be patient. Alright, so we're back, and boom! Yes, this is now released from the grill. It's good to flip. Kind of coming apart a little bit, no worries, no worries. And as you can see, this is looking pretty beautiful. So as we let these things cook off, you see I've got one hand. I'm recording by myself. That's kind of what I didn't want to get into. But next time it'll be more high quality if this video goes over well. How do you tell when they're done? So, you see my hand? So, if you touch your index finger to your thumb and then you push in with your index finger of your other hand, right where I have this leaf marking my that fleshy part between my thumb and forefinger, that's going to be rare. That's what the meat feels like if it's rare, okay? If we go to the middle finger, that's going to be medium rare. If we go to the ring finger, that's going to be medium well. And if you have the same consistency as when you touch your thumb and your pinky finger together, that is well done. So, I'm going to shake the leaf off. We're going to test this. Alright, so my dad's steak. Boom. That is pretty much a perfect medium right now. And mine is still a little bit spongy. So, we've got a medium and a medium rare steak right there. Perfect. So we got to find some tongs. We're going to take these off the grill. Alright, so I have my trusty tongs. It's time to slap these over onto the rack that I have prepared. Just have a look at the bottom. Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful. Boom, on the rack. And my perfect medium rare steak on the rack. Oh, this is going to be delicious, guys. So there they are. Thing of beauty. And so yeah, I just go with salt and pepper because I find that the flavor imparted by like mesquite charcoal is so good. You can play around if you like other flavors with your steaks, but You know, I just like going simple. I like the flavor of the meat. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. If so, let me know. Leave a rating. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Doesn't matter if you liked it, if you didn't. And we'll be talking soon. I'm going to cut into these. We're going to serve them up with some potato salad, some salads, rice, whatever. You know, choice of sides. Maybe we'll get into that later on. And once again, I do apologize for the low production values on this video, but if you enjoyed it, then I'm going to do more like it and get into some healthy food for gamers, because I know with me, it's so easy to fall into some bad eating habits. So I'm going to show you some really super healthy stuff, as well as some special occasion recipes, the kind of thing that you don't do every day. And the key is to let these things rest for 5 minutes or so before you cut into them. They're super agitated, the juices are going crazy. You don't want to cut into them and just have the juice spill out. You want to let them rest, let the juices settle, sit down, enjoy with a nice beer, and yeah, it's been a beautiful day. I hope you enjoyed the video. Once again, cheers. We'll talk soon.